You guys, I stayed in a haunted hotel many times, but there was one hotel that will forever stick in my mind because I had some pretty crazy experiences there. Would you dare check into this hotel? Hello my friends, Alex Matsuo here, and I'm bringing you another video about some spooky stuff. So the hotel that I'm going to be talking about today is located in Hollywood, California. If you've ever wanted to meet a celebrity that is already long gone, we're talking Marilyn Monroe, Humphrey Bogart, Betty Grable, Montgomery Clift, maybe you should consider making a reservation at this hotel. Before we get started, be sure to hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and be sure to turn on that notification bell. That way, every time I post a new video, you will be the first to know. It's kind of like a VIP club for YouTube. Yeah. Feel free to follow me on social media. My handles are around me or below me, wherever I decide to put them this time around. Okay, let's get started. All right, so the hotel I'm talking about is the Hollywood Roosevelt Hotel. It opened in 1927, and it was the home of Marilyn Monroe for 2 years. So after she divorced her first husband, Marilyn Monroe came out to Hollywood to make it big. And she actually did her first modeling photo shoot right in the pool, beside the pool, at the Roosevelt Hotel. So as you can see, this hotel is kind of the center for Hollywood glitz and glam. I mean, if you want to go to the center of Hollywood, this is it. Grauman's Chinese Theater is right across the street. I mean, the Hollywood Walk of Fame is right outside. It's great. And how do I know this? I've stayed there personally many times. Many times. So being a California kid, I was actually living in San Diego. I grew up in San Diego. I'm forever a San Diego girl at heart. And the first time I ever went to the Roosevelt Hotel, it was in 2011. Yeah, it was like 2 months after I graduated from college. I will tell you, from the first moment I walked in, I felt something. Like, you just feel this strange presence and power. It could be Hollywood, it could be just the vibe of, oh, I'm in Hollywood, but I also used to be an actor. I mean, it's just this power that hits you. Like, maybe it's the Hollywood glam of it, maybe it's the whole, oh, I'm in LA, or it's the smog. The Hollywood Roosevelt Hotel has been the center of paranormal activity for years. I mean, since the 1960s, Marilyn Monroe's ghost has been spotted there. So during that 2 years that Marilyn Monroe was living at the Roosevelt, she lived in, I believe it was Suite 1200. It's right next to the pool. It has a wraparound balcony. It's got a view of the pool. It's beautiful. She lived there for 2 years, which means she probably had some cash. And I think during her time there, I mean, it was right at the beginning of her career. She was probably feeling really just, yeah, I'm gonna make it. Like a lot of energy, a lot of hope. And there was this big, tall mirror in her room. It was like full-length mirror. It's massive. It's still at the Roosevelt today. It's actually in the lobby, like in the mezzanine area, in one of the hallways. If I'm there, I can find it. I'm sure if you ask somebody like, hey, where's the Marilyn Monroe mirror? You can find it. Someone will direct you to it. Now, you may have noticed I mentioned that mirror is not in that suite anymore. Why? Well, legend has it that people who looked in that mirror in their room kept seeing Marilyn Monroe. So imagine you're looking in the mirror and then Marilyn's face appears. Like, what? I mean, that's crazy. Apparently, cleaning ladies, when they were cleaning the mirror, her face would appear. People didn't want to stay in that room, so rumor has it, legend has it, that they moved that mirror to another location. But Marilyn Monroe spent 2 years in this hotel. Guess what? That room? I believe it's still haunted. And the Roosevelt actually still reserves that room for guests. I believe it's called the Marilyn Monroe Boutique. So if you want to stay in the same room as Marilyn Monroe, then definitely book this room and maybe expect to run into her ghost. I mean, that's kind of cool, but also mildly terrifying. You know, you're looking in the mirror. I mean, when I'm looking in the mirror, I'm expecting to see my mug. I don't expect to see Marilyn Monroe in the reflection. Now, could it be that Marilyn went back to the place where she was just starting out and she had all these really great feelings about her future career? She wants to go back and relive that and just be around the hotel she loves the most? Or is it her residual energy? I mean, making it in Hollywood takes a lot of energy. There's a lot of emotions involved, and Marilyn was a pretty fantastic actor. I'm thinking it could be a combination of her energy. Maybe her conscious intelligence spirit is in the suite, and maybe her energy is attached to the mirror? I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments. So Marilyn Monroe is not the only Hollywood actor to be haunting the Roosevelt. Montgomery Clift lived at the hotel for 3 months while he was filming the 1953 movie From Here to Eternity. And I believe he stayed in room 928. If you don't know the name Montgomery Clift, I definitely recommend that you look him up. His career was a little staggered. He was very picky about the roles that he took. And sadly, in 1956, he did get into a devastating car accident that left him needing to get plastic surgery on his face. So he never really recovered from that surgery physically nor emotionally. His ghost apparently will tap people on the shoulder, batteries will drain while in this room, and you can hear a bugle call and music from a bugle in this room. Now, if you're not familiar with the movie From Here to Eternity, Montgomery Clift did play the bugle. So could it be, maybe this is another combination. Maybe Montgomery Clift loves tapping guests on the shoulder to maybe get a spook out of them, but also maybe his practicing on the bugle resonates still in that room. I mean, can you imagine you're in the hotel room and you're by yourself and then you feel someone tapping your shoulder? I mean, that's got to be horrifying. I mean, you turn around, nobody's there. You have to think someone's messing with your mind. All right, well, let me know what you think of this ghost story by leaving me a comment. This next one is actually really sad. It's the spirit of a child. Now, this isn't the first ghost story that involves a child. So apparently this little girl by the name of Carolyn, I'm going to say Caroline. She haunts the Roosevelt Hotel and she walks around asking people where her father is. I've also heard that she will ask people where her mother is. So maybe it's a combination of both. Have you seen my mother? Have you seen my father? So the legend behind Caroline is she and her brother actually drowned in the pool while their father was out running errands. Not only does Caroline haunt the Roosevelt Hotel, but also her brother. Caroline has been seen and heard making phone calls from the hotel lobby, and people will go to that area, they'll go to that specific phone and nobody is there. They also haunt the jacuzzi. I mean, if I were to pass on, that's where I would go. I would go haunt the jacuzzi in Disneyland and all the luxury stuff that I can't afford right now. And we don't know a lot about where Caroline came from. I find this really interesting that she never really left, and neither did her brother. Could they still be at the Roosevelt Hotel waiting for their parents to come back and get them? So here's another one. Mystery phone calls. This is probably one of the most disturbing things I have ever read. As you know, receptionists that work in hotels, they're working around the clock. They don't stop. I mean, because you have guests staying there 24/7. You know, they can't close up for like 8 hours overnight. I mean, if you call reception at 1 a.m., you're going to reach somebody. So receptionists and officers who are working the front desk have received phone calls from rooms that have no guests checked in, and they will hear giggling on the other side. Now, the Roosevelt Hotel does have a lot of security, so it's not like anybody can just go in there and break a door down or jimmy a lock and go in there and make calls. And plus, why would you do that? If you wanted to stay at the Roosevelt or, you know, sneak in there and everything, why would you call yourself out? I find this very disturbing and really scary. I mean, imagine you're working, it's like 3 a.m. at the hotel and you get a call and you answer it and there's giggling on the other side. What? Other things that have been reported at the Roosevelt Hotel is the sound of a typewriter from unoccupied rooms. Like, we're talking the old classic typewriter. It's crazy. I mean, you're going down the hallway and you hear typing and you look over into one of the rooms and there's nobody there. Also, there have been reports of a man in the lobby dressed in white over by the piano near the Blossom Room. He's dressed in white. It's like 1930s style clothing. And the closer you get to him, the more he disappears. So he just dissipates, he just goes away. Now, part of me thinks that this is more of a residual haunting, meaning it's just the energy of either that gentleman or just the routine of that job, like the energy just got embedded into the area. And I mentioned Humphrey Bogart and Betty Grable, also Carmen Miranda and Carol Lombard, her ghost has been sighted, and Errol Flynn. Like, that's the one that makes me really excited. Like, oh my gosh, to meet the ghost of Errol Flynn. It seems like the Roosevelt was such a beloved place that a lot of these celebrities from classic golden age of Hollywood, they just didn't want to leave. And I'll admit, during my stay at the Hollywood Roosevelt Hotel, I had some experiences myself. Now, I mentioned when I first walked in, I just got hit with this energy. I don't know what that was. I don't know if maybe it was just the crowd in the room, it was somebody else, or I was feeling the essence of the Hollywood Roosevelt Hotel. But I didn't get a chance to stay there overnight until 2012. I found it really interesting because I was with a friend and I would hear things like footsteps going up and down the hallway. I would look through the peephole or I'd look down the hall and there would be nobody there. But also, according to my friend, I also went into some sort of trance while we were napping. Like, what? I don't know what that was about. It was really interesting. But other than that, I didn't really notice that much paranormally. It wasn't until I was there once again, but a year later in 2013. I was working for someone who was living out of the Roosevelt Hotel, so I found myself there a lot. And they booked a room for me every time I had to be there more than a day or two. So I was staying at the Hollywood Roosevelt Hotel by myself, in a room by myself. I think maybe because I was by myself, that was when the activity escalated. I would see shadows out of the corner of my eye. I wouldn't just hear taps around the room, I would hear full out knocks. Like someone would knock on my door, I'd go over there and I'd look through the peephole and nobody was there. And usually in hotels, when they knock on the door, they'll say housekeeping or room service. They'll usually say something to announce themselves. So I found this incredibly disturbing. I didn't feel the tap on my shoulder, but I kept feeling like something kept playing with my hair, which, when that happens, you get rather rattled. I would go look at the mirror that is tied with Marilyn Monroe's ghost. I mean, it was almost like saying hello to Marilyn every morning that I was there. And I will say I did feel a really weird energy around that mirror. Sometimes when I would look to the side, I'd see someone like walking in front of me or just appearing in front of me. Like not the guests that were behind me, walking around, but like in front of me. And I always wondered, like, is that Marilyn saying hello? I don't know. You would think that maybe I would have ghost hunted or did an EVP session once, but at the time I was there for work, so I didn't really think about it. And plus, having things happen and being by myself, that left me in an especially vulnerable place that I didn't want to escalate the activity either, especially since I was by myself. That's it, everybody. Before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and let me know what you think. Please leave a comment. Let me know what you think of the video, what you think of the Roosevelt Hotel, Marilyn Monroe's ghost. I want to hear it all. Lay it on me. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next round.